You are standing in the spice aisle, scanning familiar jars until one catches your eye. Inside is a deep red powder that looks enough like chili to fool you at first glance. But the label says sumac. Maybe you have seen it sprinkled over hummus, tossed into salads, or brightening a yogurt dip without ever knowing what it was. That is where the story gets interesting. Sumac was souring food long before lemon became the obvious choice in many kitchens. So, what exactly is it? Why does it taste so different? And why has it lasted for so long? By the end of video, you will understand this spice much more clearly and leave with a simple 5-second rule for using it well. Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. What sumac actually is. Sumac is a spice made from the dried and ground berries of certain shrubs in the rus genus. Many spices begin as seeds, bark, roots, or dried flower buds. Sumac begins as fruit. Before it becomes powder, it grows in dense clusters of small red berries. Those berries are harvested, dried, and crushed into the seasoning you see in the jar. The finished spice usually ranges from deep burgundy to reddish purple. Depending on how it is processed, it may look soft and powdery, slightly coarse, or faintly sticky from natural oils and fruit acids. Some versions are sold pure, while others are mixed with salt. Not every kind of sumac is edible, and that is worth saying once and clearly. The version used in cooking comes from specific varieties that people learn to identify and use safely over generations. It is not just a random red powder. It is a fruit-based spice shaped by long culinary knowledge. But the reason it stayed in kitchens for centuries is not just what it looks like, it is what it does on the tongue. What makes sumac taste so different? Sumac does not taste sour in the way most people expect. It is not as sharp as vinegar, and it does not hit with the bright burst of fresh lemon juice. Its acidity feels drier, quieter, and more rounded. There is a clean tartness to it, but also a mild earthiness underneath, with a faint fruitiness that some people read as floral, and others almost describe as tea-like. It brightens food without making it feel wet. A squeeze of lemon can wake up a dish, but it also adds moisture. Sumac gives a similar lift while staying dry, which means it can sharpen flavor without softening texture. That is why it works so well in dry rubs, roasted foods, and grilled dishes where texture is part of the pleasure. Part of that mouth-watering effect comes from organic acids, especially malic acid, the same acid that gives green apples their crisp tartness. That helps explain why sumac feels less like citrus in aroma and more like a clean, savory kind of brightness. It does not dominate a dish, it frames other flavors, and once a spice can bring acidity without moisture, it stops being a garnish and starts becoming a very useful tool. Why sumac mattered long before modern kitchens. Long before lemons became easy to find year-round, kitchens still needed acid, rich foods needed balance, fat needed contrast, grains, meat, and cooked vegetables all tasted more complete when something sharp cut through their heaviness. Sumac answered that need early. That is why it developed deep roots in Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cooking, across places such as Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Iran, Palestine, and nearby regions. In those food traditions, sumac was never just decoration. It was a dependable way to bring brightness to a meal when fresh citrus was not always available, affordable, or practical. Its history may go even further back. Ancient Roman sources mention sour red powders used in sauces and meat preparations, and these are often linked to sumac or sumac-like ingredients. People needed a dry source of acidity that could sharpen flavor without changing the whole structure of a dish. That is the real reason sumac mattered, not because it was exotic and not just because it was old. It mattered because it solved an ordinary problem in cooking. How sumac comes alive on food. The most familiar role sumac plays is as a finishing spice. It is often added near the end, right before serving, when both its color and its tartness can stay clear and noticeable. A dusting over hummus can make the whole bowl feel brighter. The same is true for yogurt dips, roasted potatoes, grilled chicken, and salads like fattoush. where sumac gives the dressing much of its signature brightness. It is especially good with onions. Thinly sliced onions tossed with sumac become sharper, livelier, and more aromatic, which is why they appear so often beside kebabs, wraps, and other grilled meats. The logic is simple. Fat needs acid. Rich food becomes easier to enjoy when something cuts through it, and sumac does that without washing flavor away. One of the clearest examples is za'atar. In that blend, sumac is not a background detail. It is the sour backbone that keeps the herbs and sesame from feeling flat. Without it, za'atar would still smell good, but it would lose much of the brightness that makes it feel alive. Once you notice how sumac works, it becomes easy to imagine elsewhere too, over fish, eggs, rice, lentils, tomatoes, or flatbreads. Some cooks even use it in popcorn, desserts, syrups, or tea-like infusions. In some Levantine salads, it can replace lemon entirely. That alone would keep sumac relevant. But the reason it feels current today goes a little further. Why sumac still fits the modern kitchen. Modern cooking still values exactly what sumac does best. It brings strong flavor definition without adding liquid, and it does not take much to make an impression. In a time when cooks care about texture as much as taste, that matters. That is also why sumac has moved well beyond the kitchens where it has its roots. It now appears in newer cooking because its logic travels well. It can sharpen seafood, wake up grain bowls, add contrast to roasted vegetables, and bring interest to simple foods without making them complicated. There is another reason it fits the present moment. Sumac is naturally salt-free, so it can help food feel vivid and satisfying without relying entirely on extra sodium. It does not replace salt, but it can reduce the need to lean on it so heavily. Sumac is not a trend spice that suddenly became useful. It has been useful all along. The nutritional side, without the hype. Sumac also has a nutritional side, though it is best understood as a supporting detail rather than the main reason people value it. Its deep red color comes in part from antioxidant compounds, including flavonoids and phenolic compounds. In traditional medicine, it has been associated with digestive support, antimicrobial use, and reducing inflammation. Those links are part of its long cultural history. But this is where perspective matters. Modern science approaches those claims more carefully, and rightly so. Sumac is interesting in that context, but it does not need to be turned into a miracle ingredient to justify its place in the kitchen. In fact, one of the simplest truths about sumac may still be the most useful one. It makes food taste brighter, clearer, and more balanced. That alone is already a real kind of value. And that leads naturally to one of the most common misunderstandings around it. The confusion between edible sumac and poisoned sumac. One reason some people hesitate around sumac is the name itself. They hear it and immediately think of poisoned sumac, as if the spice on the table and the plant in warning labels must be the same thing. In culinary terms, they are not. Poison sumac is associated with wetlands and white berries. The sumac used in cooking comes from edible varieties that grow in drier regions and produce dense clusters of red berries. Cooks in the regions where sumac has been used for generations understood that difference long before modern classification made it easier to describe. That makes the confusion interesting, but it should not become larger than it is. Culinary sumac has a long-established place in food. It is a very old ingredient with a practical role. So if sumac is worth keeping in a modern kitchen, the next question becomes simple. How do you choose a good one and use it well? The 5-second rule for choosing and using sumac. Here is the 5-second rule. Look, smell, and think about timing. First, look at the color. Good sumac should appear deep red, burgundy, or reddish purple, with real life in it. If it looks dull, brownish, or tired, that is usually a sign that time has already taken away much of what made it useful. Next, smell it. Fresh sumac should carry a bright, tart, faintly fruity aroma. It does not need to be loud, but it should feel awake. If the jar gives you almost nothing, the flavor may be doing the same. Old sumac often turns dusty and flat, and once that brightness is gone, it loses the lift that makes it special. Then think about timing. Sumac is usually strongest when it is added near the end, not buried in long cooking. Prolonged heat softens its acidity and blurs the effect you are trying to preserve. This is not a spice that wants to disappear into the background. It wants visibility. Two smaller checks matter too. One is whether salt has already been mixed into it. Pure sumac gives you more control. The other is storage. Keep it in an airtight container away from heat, moisture, and light. Ground sumac keeps well when stored properly, and whole dried berries last even longer, but freshness still matters. Because sumac is so often used as a finishing touch, stale sumac may barely register while lively sumac can lift an entire dish. The small spice that completes a dish. The next time you see that small jar of red powder on a shelf, it may not look like much, but behind it sits a long story about taste, habit, and practical kitchen wisdom. Sumac helped sour food before lemon became the obvious answer. It brought brightness without moisture, balance without heaviness, and color without noise. That is why it endured across centuries, regions, and changing food trends. It still matters now for the same reason it mattered then. It makes food feel clearer, fresher, and more alive without taking over the whole dish. Some ingredients demand attention. Sumac does something quieter, and maybe more impressive. It does not dominate a meal, it completes it. If sumac were sitting in your kitchen right now, what would you try it on first? Hummus, grilled meat, roasted vegetables, or something unexpected? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the hidden logic behind simple things, subscribe to the channel and stay with us for more stories hiding in everyday details.